Can I tell you something? One of the hardest parts of faith isn't when God says no. It's when he says nothing at all. When you keep praying, keep believing, keep hoping, and heaven feels silent. Maybe you've been there. You've prayed for the healing. You've prayed for the prodigal child. You've prayed for your marriage. You prayed for a breakthrough. You prayed for the direction. And instead of an answer, you got silence. And if we're honest, that's hard because we live in a world that expects everything now. We order something online and it arrives tomorrow. We send a text and expect an immediate response. We search for answers and have information in seconds. But you see, God doesn't always work on our timeline. Sometimes he slows us down. Sometimes he asks us to wait. Sometimes he stays quiet. Not because he has abandoned us, not because he doesn't care, but because he's doing something deeper than we can ever see. I think about Joseph. God gave him a dream, but before the dream came true, there was a pit. There was slavery. There was prison. Years of waiting. Years of wondering. Years when it probably felt like nothing was happening. But God was working the whole time. Joseph couldn't see it, but God did. And then I think about David, anointed king as a young man, yet years passed before he ever sat on the throne. Years of running, years of hiding, years of waiting, and still God was working. Then I think about Abraham. Promised a son, then waited and waited and waited. Still, God was working. Maybe that's what somebody needs to hear today. Just because God is quiet doesn't mean God is absent. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean he isn't moving. Just because you don't understand the process doesn't mean he has forgotten the promise. Sometimes God does his deepest work in the waiting. Because while we're waiting for the answer, God is shaping our character, building our faith, teaching us trust, drawing us closer, preparing us for what we've been praying for. You know, Isaiah 40:31 says this, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Not those who rush, not those who figure it all out, not those who force that door open, those who wait. And listen, I'm going to tell you something. I know waiting, it isn't easy. Good grief. The waiting, it stretches us. It tests us. Waiting reveals what's really in our hearts. But waiting is never wasted when it's spent with God. Maybe today you're wondering where God is. Maybe you've been praying the same prayer for months, maybe even years. Friend, don't make the mistake of thinking God's silence is his absence. He's still working. He is still moving. He is still writing your story. And one day, you'll look back and realize that even in the quiet seasons, God was there all along. The silence wasn't punishment. The waiting wasn't abandonment. It was preparation. So don't give up. Keep praying. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Because the God who made the promise is still faithful, even when he seems quiet.